An industrial cathedral in a misty environment with wild clouds in the background. Holy fuck. That was an example of Midjourney generating an image based off a simple text prompt I gave it. And the first time you see an AI do something like this, it's pretty astonishing and quite remarkable how it works. But the first time you do it yourself, writing in your own words and then seeing the AI generate the image that you wrote down, it feels magical. It's almost hard to comprehend how well it all works. So in this video I would like to talk a little bit about generating images with AI and using it for things like design and illustrations, and specifically about how Midjourney works and how it might impact the industry right now. I'm not going to talk about when or when not something is art, whether you made the art or the AI made the art, and who's the artist in that thing. That's a big philosophical topic and far too much for this video. But let's start with diving into how Midjourney works. In its current state, Midjourney is a beta program where users through Discord has access to use online servers to generate images of many kinds through simple text prompts. And because it's on Discord, there's also a large community where you can see and share what everyone else is doing. Right now you can apply to their beta through their website, but you may or may not get accepted. But somebody that's already in can send invites, depending on their payment plan. At first you have a few GPU points that you can use to generate images. When they are spent, then you can sign up for a subscription, which allows you to generate more images. Personally, I crunched through the trial in like 30 minutes, and then I upgraded to the $10 tier, which gave me 200 images a month. And I crunched through that in like 20 minutes. And then I signed up for the $30 tier, which gives me unlimited personal use of Midjourney. Okay, let me walk you through the process. So on Midjourney, I can now write with this bot, then I can type /imagine and give it a prompt of some sort. And I could write something like a Viking house on a green hill with mountains in the background and cloudy weather. And then Midjourney will generate 4 thumbnails. This will take about 1 minute. In addition, it will give me some options when it's completed. We get these buttons below the image and we can either create variations or upscale the images. Variations will take the thumbnail and generate more thumbnails based on that specific composition, which is good if you like the composition but want to see some quick iterations on it. Upscaling will spit out a higher resolution image of that thumbnail. This takes a bit longer and also a bit more GPU points, so I would recommend to use it sparingly. When you have upscaled an image, you also get the option to do a light upscale redo, which essentially recreates the upscale closer to that original thumbnail. And that's pretty much how it works. Well, then there's the prompt itself, and this is where it gets really interesting. Thousands of people right now are experimenting with different sentence structures, keywords, and combinations to control the result. And there are some really neat things you can do. And I don't want to talk about all the things you can do, but I want to highlight some really cool things you can do. We could take the same prompt that we had before, but then say it should have been painted by a famous artist. In this case, Craig Mullins. And then it sort of paints the picture in a style that sort of matches his. It creates all the brushstrokes and makes everything a bit more expressive. We could also try something like Picasso or Egon Schiele and get some really interesting results. This is really fascinating because it alters shape, colors, and textures all to mimic their styles. You could also tell it what kind of shot it should be to get a more controlled result, like a wide shot or something like a drone shot. You could also specify what should be in the background and foreground. Although it struggles a bit with fire, it sort of just puts everything on fire, but it's still cool. But Midjourney also has these specific parameters you can write out, like writing AR to set the aspect ratio of the generated image. You can also give it a seed to make the composition stay more consistent. So clearly you can do a lot and you can get some amazing results. But what does all this mean for the industry and for you as an artist? Will this replace the artist entirely at some point? Well, maybe. Someday far in the future, maybe. But not right now. I think right now it's a tool, and it's a powerful one at that. It reminds me a lot of when photo bashing first came and started gaining momentum in the industry. Before, artists were painting everything by hand, but then they started using photos to speed up the process of including certain elements into the scene. It could have been foliage, textures, or mountains. And it gave them this incredible speed and efficiency to reach certain results. And I'm gonna say it right now, back then I wasn't the biggest fan of photo bashing. I actually kind of looked down upon it. It was not the fact that I thought that people who were photo bashing weren't real artists, or that the photos were doing all the work for them instead of the artist. It was more that along with photo bashing came a certain style and the sort of obvious use of photos. And I lost a lot of the enjoyment of looking at the art that I had from looking at regular painting. But then as I grew older and I started to understand the world of design and visual development more and more, I started to realize the importance of speed and efficiency to convey ideas. So I accepted it and I ended up using it myself. And I actually learned to really, really like it. I developed a new caring for the style, and I sort of realized that there was a great art in how you integrate and use the photos. But when working with it yourself, you also understand how many art fundamentals you have to know to photo bash yourself. Photo bashing is not a tool to replace artistic skill, it's a tool to speed it up. And in my opinion, there are also some designs that you can only make when you have that kind of speed. And we also have a lot of other tools like Blender, 3D Code, asset libraries, and much more. And now we have AI. So how should we use something like Midjourney now? Right off the bat, I don't think this means you should stop learning art fundamentals. I think it's easily as important as it was before. Because what the AI generates are not final images. They're always a little bit off one way or another. They all feel like the thing you're trying to create, but they never are the thing exactly. Which is actually one of the really great features. It becomes a great starting point, an abstract thumbnail with all the pieces there. You just need to make sense of it. For example, I could generate an idea, then bring it into Photoshop and start playing around with it by moving some paint around and defining a few areas. And here I'm really using my knowledge of drawing and painting, my art fundamentals, to continue this thumbnail. And I could save a whole bunch of time this way and generate ideas really, really fast. I've also tried generating textures to use in 3D, like these mosaic patterns, or this submarine door, which I can use to texture a 3D asset. All really cool stuff. And because of the speed and the simplicity of the tool, it could be used by so many other people. A really cool demo I saw was an image AI in combination with an audiobook, where the audiobook would read out sentences and descriptions from the book, and then the AI would generate images based off those descriptions in real time. Quite fascinating. I could also imagine if you were running a D&D campaign and you wanted to build out your world and present images to the player, you could use an AI to generate something to set the mood and the tone for the players. And there are probably way more use cases out there just waiting to be discovered. But there could also be some downsides to a tool like this. And I think they're worth talking about as well. And here would actually be really great if all you guys watching could share your opinions on this in the comments. That would be really awesome. I think one of the big issues is the problem of quality versus quantity. I think there's no doubt that a tool like this can enhance the quantity of the art that can be produced. But I think there's a real danger of us getting more quantity instead of more quality. And I think that would be a mistake. Quality is often a measure of skill, idea, and execution, and the execution part takes time. All the content we really love, the really great stuff, has usually been through countless iterations to get to a really great point. And I really hope for tools like Midjourney to help out with the iteration part, help remove some of that hard labor that's involved in creating quality content. My fear is that there will be a surge of AI art that will flood the market, and like with NFT art, it will be overwhelming to the point where we feel full and we want to seek content elsewhere. I know people react differently the first time they see an AI generate a really good image. Some people get really excited, some people see it as a way to excel their business, but some people also get demotivated from painting and drawing because the AI just does it so well. From a personal standpoint, I got really excited. I'm the kind of person with lots of projects and lots of things I want to do, but not enough time to do it. And there's not enough time because I hold the content I want to make to a really high standard of quality. So it's just not feasible for me to do them all, but a tool like Midjourney can help me create a few more of those quality items. And I think that's pretty exciting. And if you're looking to learn more about creating art for visual development, then you can check out some of the other videos on my channel. There's lots of stuff to dig through. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.